It was broad daylight. I walked in, I wrote on a note, give me all the money, no die pack. I slid the lady the note, she handed me a knot of money, put it in my pocket, I walked out, got in the car, I was like, I got it, let's go. We driving off, all of a sudden I felt my pocket getting warm. I'm like, what in the world? I go, and my pocket's burning now. I go in my pocket, I pull out, die pack. Came back to New York, hit 2 more banks, got locked up. They sent me to RIKERS Island. They sent me to Canaan. They sent me there. Boom, I see all the homies. You know, some dudes I know from the street. Boom, they welcome me, whatever. They want to give me a hammer. I knew my paperwork was good, so I got my joint, boom, gave it to them, whatever. But the tension there in the yard, the tension in the child hall, it's just tension, man. In the like, it's serious up there, like.
Bounce back, you got a moment. When they see you down, just know they love it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, D. Luke. I got special guests with me today. Why don't you tell the people your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself.
What's going on, man? My name is Julian Miller. They call me Juice. I'm from Roxbury. Okay. Little side street called Copeland Street. So just a little bit about myself. You know, I'm a recovering addict. You know, I've been clean for 10 years. I've been clean for 18 years. Yeah, I did 8.5 years in the feds, you know, for unarmed bank robbery. You know, I did, you know, juvie time, state time, federal time, and it's like, it was just like, it didn't work the first 2 times, and then, you know, doing the same old stuff over and over again, and it just took me to another spot where, you know, led me to the feds, man, you know? Yeah.
Hey, how long have you been out of the feds?
Well, December it'd be 10 years, yeah, for sure.
Congrats. Just talk a little bit about what you got going on now. What are you doing with yourself?
You know, I'm one of Boston's top motivational speakers. So I'm doing, you know, I'm going to high schools, colleges, corporations, rehabs, you know, sober houses, you name it, I'm there, you know? I'm doing that, and I'm also doing, I just started a mentorship program as well with the youngins, you know, through federal court. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy like how that came about, you know? I'm doing that, and I also drive a cement truck for a living. You know, I got my CDL license, and I drive a cement truck,
Okay. Talk a little bit about how you got into the motivational speaking side of things.
You know, I also do poetry. So I remember I was at an open mic session. There was a teacher there, and he heard my poems. So he was like, oh man, your poems are awesome, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, yo, you mind coming to my school to see, you know, to share your poems with my kids? And I was like, sure, I'll do it. I went there, and you know, I did a couple of poems, and I shared a little bit about me, not too much, just a little bit. And I left. Next day, the teacher reached out to me and was like, man, that was amazing. Them kids loved you. I never seen them so, you know, I never seen them pay so much attention, and like they were focused. And yo, he was like, man, thank you so much. And he invited me back again to the next year. And so I was like, man, this is my lane right here. So I started reaching out to schools, and you know, and I started speaking, you know.
That's fine. Just for a frame of reference, what grade were these kids in, do you know?
Oh, they were high school kids.
High school kids?
Yep, they were high school kids, yeah.
Cool.
So I go to colleges, high school, you name it, I'm there, yeah.
So is that what sparked the interest for you to want to do the mentorship thing? How did that come about?
So how that came about was my old federal probation officer recommended me to one of her colleagues, and so they gave me a call and asked me if I wanted to mentor this kid. They want to try something, you know. So I was on a 3-way in a matter of an hour, I was on a 3-way call with a federal probation officer and a federal judge. Asking me if I want to, you know, mentor this kid. And so I was like, yeah, let's do, you know, I'll give it a try, you know. So it's going well. So, you know, they saying like, yo, if this goes well, maybe we can, that can be another lane for you, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, absolutely. Because that's my main focus. I wanna, you know, give these kids, you know, not only kids, grown-ups too, but something that I didn't have when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? Like that, you know, sharing your story, telling them the mistakes that you made, that I made,
Right.
so they won't make the same mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We all gonna make mistakes,
For sure.
But I just want them to learn from the ones that they make and don't make the mistakes I made.
Right.
So,
Why is that important to you?
it's important to me because the next generation, man, is the future, and it's like I didn't have that, so I want to give it.
Yeah.
And it feels good to share, to build somebody up, to let them know that it's okay to fail. They said it's a saying. They said if you don't fail at something, that means you're not trying.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be willing to put yourself out there, and hopefully the message is too, when these kids fail, it's not to the level that you got to do a Fed bit. You know what I mean? It's just maybe, you know what I mean? You fail, you didn't make the basketball team, try again next time. You know what I mean? It's the levels for sure. So
Absolutely.
So you said Copeland Street?
Yeah, Copeland Street.
Roxbury. Just talk about growing up out there in that era.
Yeah.
And what that was like.
And the 90s, on my little side street, it was pretty tough. We had good times. Your peoples, your folks, everybody that that's in the neighborhood you grow with. We all had good times, but it was pretty tough.
Yeah.
I witnessed. I didn't witness, but I seen it. My cousin. He was murdered at 14 years old, and I was 10.
Wow.
To see that, at a young age, like a big hole in his chest on the ground, that was the first part of it. You know what I'm saying? And then, growing up, I'm the youngest out of 4, so it's my mother raised us. My family's from Costa Rica, so 2 of my older brothers and my mother came up to the United States for better life,
Right.
And then I came along, and man, just watching them get into the street. I'm gonna start off around 8th grade, and watching them selling drugs and getting high and doing all the craziness. That's my role models. You know what I'm saying? I looked up to them, and that's all I seen. So that's all I know.
Right.
So it's I'm in the 8th grade, and mind you, everything went down in front of my house.
Yeah.
When I say everything went down to, from drug selling to people getting shot at, all that craziness, you name it, it happened in front of my house. And so I was kind of born into that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was tough because I played ball. I went to, I was in middle school. I was playing ball, and I had my reading teacher and the security guard. They paid my way in the Catholic Memorial.
Okay.
They paid my tuition, my books,
Wow.
My clothes. They tutored me on Tuesdays and Saturdays. But I was just too caught up in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I was just too caught up. My friends were, the hood, so that's all I knew.
What age were you when you came over from Costa Rica, you said?
So I was born in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah. So my brothers, they came over, they probably was 14, 15, about that, And but I was born and raised, yeah.
So where was your father during all this?
My father, never knew my father. I never met him.
Okay.
Never knew nothing about him, you know what I'm saying? I would always ask my mother about him, and she'd be like,
I mean, how did you feel about that?
That was pretty tough, because I had to look for, I didn't have to, but I was looking for love. I was looking for that father figure, and I couldn't find it, and I found it in the streets,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So it was I didn't know nothing else. All I knew was Roxbury,
Right.
And I had an opportunity to stray away, to do good, to play ball for a good school, and who knows where that would have went. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But I was wearing chains and carrying money and pistols to school. Come on,
that's wild.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I thought that was the right thing to do.
Right, and if that's all you know, what about as far as your family members? Like you said, you had older brothers. Are they getting locked up while you're younger? Is that something that you experienced?
So one of my both of them got locked. You know, both of them caught cases, and I was just watching them, you know, selling drugs and doing what they do. Like, I just thought that was the right thing to do, so I did it.
How long do you last at Catholic Memorial? Do you end up graduating from there?
I didn't last too long. I stayed there for 2 semesters.
What happened?
And they ended up kicking me out because I wasn't doing my work. I was chilling with the seniors, smoking weed and, you know, drinking before school, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that was cool, you know?
You go to public school after that?
After that, they sent me to South Boston High, right? But now I'm catching cases. Like, you know, I done caught a little DY bid now, you know what I'm saying?
So
like,
what's that DYS bid for? And how old were you at that time?
I was about 16, 17. And the DYS bid was for a hand-to-hand, selling drugs. And, you know, I did a little 4 months, came home, thought I was the bomb.com, you know, I got street creds now, and, you know what I'm saying?
Instead of learning a lesson, you thinking it's, like you said, it's just a notch under your belt. Street credit, all that. Obviously, looking back, misguided, ridiculous thinking, but at that age, you don't know no better. So you come out, you on like juvenile probation? Do you finish that?
So,
how does that work?
So I come out, and I went to a halfway house. I went to a halfway house for about 4 months. I graduated from the halfway house, came back to the, you know, came back around the hood, because I lived on the block. So it was like I came back to the hood, doing the same old thing, you know, selling drugs again. And, you know, this time I want to, you know, try a bag of dope. I'm like 17 years old. I want to try a bag, see what it's like. You know, a couple of my other homies are doing this, so why not, you know? So I tried a bag of dope, and I remember I sniffed that bag, and man, like, I didn't feel nothing. And then I went around the corner to the store, and my homie was like, yo, you don't feel nothing? I was like, nah. And I inhaled, like, did like that, and I threw up, right? And sad to say, but it was a good feeling. Sad to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real.
Absolutely.
And from that day on, I did 1 bag of dope and a bag of weed, and I would do that. I did that for the next 6 months. And one day I was like, man, I'm tired of this, man. I ain't messing with this. And I was sick. And I'm like, damn, what's going on with me? Like, you know, I got the teary eye, I got the runny nose, diarrhea, you know, chills. And my homie's like, yo, you all right? I was like, nah, like, I'm sick. He was like, man, he's like, you had any milk today? We called it milk, right? You had any milk today? And I was like, nah. And he was like, man, he was like, you got a habit. I was like, I ain't got no habit, man. You know, I'm a little, you know, fly dude, getting a little money, you know, for my age, you know. And he was like, yo, here. And I sniffed the bag, all the symptoms went away.
Wow. What made you originally wanna, like you just said, I'm through with this, I'm done with it. Was it not doing it for you no more? Was it maybe guilt?
I was over it, and I'm like, damn, what am I doing? Like, you know, like, this is, you know what I'm saying? But I done built up a habit now that I need it. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm just sniffing just to function. And man, one thing led to another, man. I caught another hand-to-hand.
Distribution,
Hand-to-hand, sent me upstate. Now, when I went to get sentenced, right?
So just explain that to me. Why did they send you upstate? Is it a second subsequent offense, or was it the amount?
So the reason why they sent me upstate was because I had a couple of other hand-to-hands, you know what I'm saying? And I could get bailed out, you know, and just, you know, so on, and so I ended up, they did this sweep. It was called Operation Toe Zone Sweep, right? It was my street and another hood, Lennox. And they snatched us up, about 40 of us. And they was going around just snatching us up, and they ended up giving me 3 years. They gave me 3 years, but when I got sentenced, let me tell you something, none of my homies were there. Like, the only person was there was my mom's and my brother, you know, and I look back and see my mom's crying, and it's like, the actions that I took, my actions, you know, not only did I hurt myself, I hurt my family, people that love me. Like, we don't think that way when we interact, you know, when we're in the moment of doing crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's like, I'm like, damn, look what I done did, man. You know, like.
So what do you make a bail, or are you fighting this from Nash or
Nah,
something like that?
so they ended up, you know, they didn't give me no bail because I was already out on bail for some other stuff, right? Other hand in hand. I was a bad drug dealer, you know.
Me too, bro.
Right? I was a bad drug
That's
dealer.
what I went
But so they gave me 3-3 in a day. You know, they sent me upstate.
Plea bargain?
Yep, 3-3 in a day. I went upstate, and this was '98.
Okay.
My first time upstate. Man.
How old are you at this point?
I was like 18.
Okay, so just talk about that
19.
feeling going upstate, 18, 19-year-old.
I was scared, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm this tough guy on the street, you know, like, but I ain't never been in the, you know, the state prison. I'm like, I was afraid, you know. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
When I got up there, I got there about 10 o'clock, man. They brought me in the cell. I closed the door. They closed the door.
Where was this?
In Concord.
Okay.
They closed the door, and I just tears just stopped running down. Like, damn, I done messed my life up, man. Like, mind you, I'm dope sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going through withdrawals and all of that. Like, all type of stuff was running through my head. And I'm like, man, like, it's like, damn, like, now what? You know, like, now what? Now.
How long does that last until you start to, your mindset starts to change? It's only 3 years, you know what I mean? 3 years, I can still, you know
The thing about me is I know how to adapt fast, you know, like adapt to my environment. And I'm a people's person, and, you know, once the next day, doors open, I seen homies, you know, I seen friends that I ain't seen, and you know, so it was all love, you know. I started balling, you know, playing ball, you know, you dudes start love, you know, showing love and all that. But I seen some crazy things up in there.
What was the first time you saw something crazy? Was it in Concord or your next stop?
It was in Concord. I seen this dude get his commissary taken away from him.
Wow.
It was like 4 or 5 dudes. They was waiting for him to come, and they just took it. They just took it from him, like.
No fight back?
No fight back. No.
Well, I mean, what did that make you think if someone presses me like that?
I wasn't worried about that, but I would have, you know, held my own, you know what I'm saying? Even though I was in fear, like, damn, I'm doing, you know, state time.
Well, I would say, like, one fight could prevent 100, right? If you
It could.
stick up for yourself like
Absolutely,
one time, man,
it
that's how I
could.
look at
But
it.
I'm a
So
big dude too, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely. But sometimes that could make somebody want to resort to a weapon too, or instead of like, that dude's too big to fight. Let me just sharpen this up real quick. You know what I mean? So that could be a double-edged sword.
And I wasn't too much of a troublemaker. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of it. Respect.
Yeah, it's like it was just a respect thing. I just, you know, so, you know, I did my 3 years. I came
So real
home.
quick though, you see classification, right? You got it's a nonviolent crime, drugs. So I mean, where do they classify you to, and where do you do most of your time?
So I stayed in population for 2 weeks, and they sent me to the gang block.
Oh, okay.
Right? At the time, it was the gang block. They classified me to SCCC.
Okay.
This is back in 98, 99. But I was in the gang block for 8 months.
Okay.
23-hour lockdown.
Damn.
A half an hour in the day, half an hour at night. You got to choose. You want a shower or phone or, you know what I'm saying, kick it with your homie. That's,
you can only do one.
You know what I'm saying, right? And you're not coming out with everybody. Like, it's the first 5 cells.
Even child? Did they feed you on the block, or did you get to go to chow hall?
No chow hall, no nothing.
Shit.
Not in the gang block.
Back then, okay.
Yeah, that's just like seg. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And they fed us in the cell. I stayed there for 8 months, and they finally sent me to SCCC. I went to SCCC.
What was that like? It's a little bit more open.
It was wide open, yeah. They had the sections. The sections was closed. The section was a part of the jail that they, you know, that it was single cells. You know what I'm saying? So the part that was open was all dormitory, all dorms and stuff. And I went there, and I got into something there. Like, I didn't learn. I started, I hooked up with a young boy. He was getting dope in, and I started getting high again in the joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I ended up getting the dirt. They did a big raid on us. Somebody told on us, and they snatched all of us up.
Yeah.
They sent us to Shirley Max.
Okay.
Sent me to Shirley Max. I wrapped up from Shirley Max in 2001.
Okay. At
But
this
Shirley
point,
Max was crazy.
Did you get sober when you left, or you still?
So I didn't have no habit.
You just dibbling,
I was just dibbling, dabbling. Yeah.
It gets expensive if you go to do
yeah,
that shit
right.
every day.
I didn't have a habit, but I was getting high. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't.
So
like,
what was Shirley Max like at that time? That seems to be like right around the time they just
when
opened
they first
up.
opened it up? Yep. It was pretty wild. They were all single cells.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes had assigned tables, different hoods,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the chow hall, right? That was crazy. You know, seen a few dudes get punished in the chow hall.
Yeah. So what about up the max? Is there any programming available? Do you do like a re-entry thing?
I wasn't even into it, so I wasn't. My mind wasn't focused on that.
On changing.
They
that.
probably was, you know
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying? But I wasn't. My mind was trying to get home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to see what's up with my my ex.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
stuff
Trying
like
to
that, yeah.
man, I done did the state bid. I'm coming home.
Right.
You know what I'm
Now
saying?
Absolutely. Are you coming home to probation at all this time?
No probation.
No probation.
I had
Straight
no
rap.
straight rap.
What's going on when you get out? Do you have what's the adjustment period like?
I get out 2001 with no plan, no purpose, no why, no reason, no nothing. And I get a job working, doing telemarketing, right? I do that for about a year off and on. But I'm still hanging around my old hood. Not on the street, but by the liquor store, right? Thinking that's a difference. Like I ain't gonna see nobody else, you know, like I ain't gonna interact with homies. But I had my daughter in 2002, right? Thinking that was gonna help me. I started hanging around the same old people. They said birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
You know, you hang with 8 losers, you'll be the 9th.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like easing back to the block. I'm drinking, my drink on. Then I start selling a little weed I start sniffing a little coke. Now I was back to messing with the dope again.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like 2003, 2004, my BM went let me see my daughter. Started not caring about myself. Shooting dope now. Sleeping in hallways. Like I'm panhandling. Like my life is just like
Backsliding.
It's like I'm backsliding for real. You know, like I just stopped loving myself. I just totally gave up on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like
looking back, why do you think it was? You think it was just you're in so deep, and then the shame of now you're using IV, intravenous drug, all that stuff, and
that's it. You know,
then,
the shame, not seeing my kids, and like, damn, I got a habit again. Like, there's no way out. It feel like there's no way out. You know what I'm saying? When you deep getting high, like people be like, yo, you can just chill, like that dope, that heroin, man. Yeah. That shit is no joke,
absolutely.
man.
That's why a lot of times too, not to say like when I see somebody who's struggling with that and they get arrested or something, it's almost like a relief because it's like, well, at least he has a chance to get sober, because it's either that or death usually. And most people ain't able to just stop. Let me just stop now all of a sudden. You know what I mean? So,
and back in like now they give you methadone and all that.
Yeah. And
back then they didn't give you that, man. Like
cold turkey.
Cold turkey. And so I was just
Tylenol maybe.
Right, like I was just disappointed in myself, man. I was just like I just didn't care no more. Like I said, I wasn't showering. Yeah. I probably shower like every 2-3 days. You know what I'm saying?
So how does that come to a head? Is it eventually when you catch this next case that brings you to the feds? And like how long are you out there running for?
So I was running for about, it didn't get real bad until like 2005, 2006. That's when it got real bad. You know what I'm saying?
And how were you able to to financially support this? Are you just hustling, or are you doing other stuff?
I was doing
Stealing
other.
from
I
people,
had a
or
money scam. I
robbing
was doing
people?
money scams. I was, I was hustling, like, and just to support my habit, Sometimes I wouldn't even have it. People would hit me with stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like people look out for me, and I remember it was 2006. I was sitting on the corner, and I'm sitting on the corner, and I was dope sick. I was hurting bad. I was hurting, and my homie came over, and he was like, "Yo, you all right?" I was like, "Nah, I'm messed up, man." He was like, "I ain't got nothing, but you want to rob a bank?" Wow. And I was like, I'm sitting down. I looked up at him like, "You crazy, man?" Like, he's like, "All right, if you change your mind, man, I'll be on the terrace." Wow. And I sat there for about 20 minutes, and I was like, "Yo," like I felt like there was no way out, And so I got up, and I was like, I went up on the terrace, knocked on the door. I was like, "Yo, let's do it." Wow. I went, we went to this bank. I walked in, and it was broad daylight. I walked in, I wrote on a note, "Give me all the money, no die pack." I slid the lady the note. She handed me a knot of money, put it in my pocket. I walked out, got in the car. I was like, "I got it, let's go." We driving off. All of a sudden, I felt my pocket getting warm. I'm like, "What in the world?" I go, and my pocket's burning now. I go in my pocket, I pull out, die pack.
Got you.
Die pack. When I tell you that shit was choking me, it was choking me. Like,
the fumes?
It was choking. We was in the car and the windows was rolled up. It's choking. Damn. So now the smoke, we rolling the windows down, the smoke is going out. It's broad day. It was
like a scene from a movie.
It was a mess. It was a mess. So we split up. I ended up walking to my brother's crib. I got all ink all over me.
All the money ruined, pretty much.
I got to my brother's crib. I got $100 out of there. $100.
I mean, talk about that emotional adrenaline roller coaster from thinking like, I just got away with robbing the bank to $100. What the hell? That must be worse than getting high and then crashing.
It was like being on a roller coaster, literally. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know how it creeps up. I done hit the bank now. I got the money, boom. And then I'm going down, we going down the roller, boom. To only find out I only got $100, man. Out of all that stuff.
No mask.
No mask.
Like that.
No mask.
So what happens? How long do they catch you right away? Is it something they put on the news? Somebody?
So I always travel with my paperwork. When I speak,
that's how I could tell a federal guy. The federal guy stay with.
When I speak, I ain't gonna. I always like. So my first joint, right? I just, you know why? Because people can be talking,
Yeah.
But when they see it, like, this is all my paperwork, though, right? Like, I every time I speak, I pull this out and show them, like, yo, this is not the type of paperwork you want. You know what I'm saying?
Is that something you carry because the way the feds is, where they want to see your paperwork?
Oh, no. I carry this so other people can see, like, it's real. Yeah. Like, this is real. Like pictures of me in the bank and all that. Like, this is real. Like, people telling on me, my census guidelines and all that stuff. Wow. All this is my paperwork. So, but after that first one, I said they gonna catch me for this one, so I just kept going.
Wow.
I hit 8 banks after that, right? So now I'm on the run for 9 banks.
And are you just going all around Mass, or is this all in Boston?
All in Mass. All about from, I'm gonna say Roxbury, Brookline, Rosendale.
Jeez. And are you doing this by yourself at this point?
By myself.
After the first one?
Yeah, all by myself. All by myself, right? Walking in, no mask, no nothing, writing on the note, "Please give me the money, no die pack," and that's it. So now I'm on the news, they looking for me heavy, right? I end up leaving town. I go to New York. right? I never been to New York before, right? This is '06. All this is '06. I never been. Now I'm on a run for 9 banks already, right? Not with pistols, just
Right,
all
right.
notes,
Unarmed. Yep.
yeah, unarmed, right? And I'm in New York. I get caught up with the flashy lights and all that stuff, right? And I'm like, wow, this is amazing, right? Stayed in Times Square for 24 hours. Just roaming around, going in the movie theater, take a little nap, come out, and just interacting with people. I ended up running out of money, right? Getting high, staying in hotels, bullshit, right? So I ended up hitting 3 more banks in New York. I had 3 banks in New York, right? Went to Disney World, right? Right? I met this girl in New York, went to Disney World, stayed down there for about a week, came back to New York, hit 2 more banks, and then got caught up.
Damn. So what's that feeling like when you're on the run? Like, are you sleeping well at night? Is it always
I was sleeping good because I'm high. You know what I'm saying?
You had all that money.
Right. I was sleeping good.
Okay. You numbing it with all the,
numbing my feelings,
so
man.
So you didn't have that anxiety of being on the run. I never really went on the run, so that's
the
why
only thing that I was annoyed like bad was when I was in Orlando, right?
Okay.
I was annoyed at bad because I'm in Disney World, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I can't even enjoy myself there, you know? Like, but I was like, man, let me get out. I got up out of there. Yeah. Came back to New York, hit 2 more banks, got locked up. They sent me to RIKERS ISLAnd. First, they sent me the booking down in Manhattan. I'm there. I'm sick. And the dude is in the cell with me. He was like, yo, you all right? You all right? I'm like, nah, I'm sick. He's like, yo, you know, they got methadone on the island. I was like, what? I'm not from New York. I don't know. All I know is if you get locked up, dope sick, you're going to get a Tylenol, Benadryl, and keep it moving. He was like, tell the CO you sick. And I'm like, yo, you for real? And he's like, yeah, tell him. I told the CO, he wrote it down. Yo, they sent me to RIKERS ISLAnd.
What was that like?
C95, right? It was a jungle there.
I bet.
When I say a jungle, they sent me there, they gave me 60 milligrams of methadone and winged me off of that. That was in '06. That was June '06. And from that on, like, I never looked back. I never touched heroin again. Wow. I never.
So you fight in this Fed case from New York, or do they eventually bring you back to Boston? Talk about how does that work?
So New York gave me a 2 to 6. I had to serve 4 years on that, right? The feds came and snatched. So let me back up a little bit. I admitted to all the banks I did, right? When they snatched me up in New York, I admitted to every bank I seen my face, I admitted to it, signed the paper, and so they gave me a 2 to 6. I served 4 years on that in the state in New York. So I was doing state time in New York. On my 3rd year, the feds came and snatched me up.
So where were you in New York State? Elmira, I know a couple of
Wilmington, Groveland, the boot camp, and RIKERS ISLAnd. So when the feds came and snatched me up, they snatched me up, brought me to Wyatt, which is a federal holding spot in Rhode Island. Brought me there, stayed there for 10 months. My guidelines were high. I accepted. I was accepting 15. There was 155 to 188 months, 12 and a half to 15. Wow. I was ready to take it, right? Because I'm thinking they're going to smoke me because I'm a bank robber. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm going to take that. I told my lawyer I'm going to take it. We go to court. We go to the sentencing, right? My lawyer asked for 48 months. The DA wanted 132 months, right? So the judge was like, no, the DA wanted 142 months, right? So being as though I was down for 3 years already, no trouble, got my GED, took it all, anger management, drug programs, you name it. I took all these programs because I know, I'm ready to. I'm starting to love myself again,
Okay.
So The judge sat in his chair and he was just act like he wasn't listening to nobody, but he was listening. And then he was like, listen, he said, if this was back in 06, I would have gave you 10 years. He said, but being as though you're doing the right thing and you ain't getting no trouble, I'm gonna give you 72 months. Sure. So he gave me 6 years. So a year that's ran concurrent. So I'm like, bet, right? So I'm happy, like, yeah, like, right? So I'm going back downstairs. Court officer's like, man, he was like, I said, I've been here 25 years. I've never seen that judge change his mind like that.
Wow.
And I ain't telling on nobody none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, I said, man, it's the grace of God, man. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Like,
what was it about why you wanted to, why you got back into loving yourself and starting to kind of change your mindset? Is it because you're looking at all this time and you realize how bad you messed up? Is it because you're just getting clean and now your head's a little clear?
The reason why I started to love myself again is because of my daughter, because I found my why, Yeah. She's my why, my reason, my rod and staff. I just started to love myself again. I started to realize that that's not me, like I'm a good dude, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a respectful dude. I'm just a caring, loving dude, And so by me filling up myself with love, I'll be able to share it with others, And I just needed to get back out to the streets, so I can do it, do the right thing, like to make my moms proud, you know what I'm saying? Because my mom's didn't raise no, disrespectful dude, no drug addict, no, you know what I'm saying?
What you do is a reflection on her too, and we don't look at it like that.
Right, So I came home, man. I came home 2014 with a plan,
So just run me through. You said you were at Wyatt in Rhode Island. Okay, how's that work? Where's the next spot that you go?
So from after I got sentenced in Wyatt, right, they sent me back to New York because I had 2 months left. Okay. Right, for the state. So they sent me back to New York, right? I finished the 2 months, and then they brought me to Hills. It was in Pennsylvania, I believe. They brought me to Pennsylvania to get classified there, right? I went from they brought me back to Pennsylvania to get classified there, and from there they sent me to Canaan. Okay.
So what's that like? That's a USP. Yeah. I mean, when you get there, did you expect it to be what it was? And just talk about that.
And more. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you already hear about it before you got up there?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about I heard, it was pretty new, newer. A newer USP, and I'm like, man. So I go up there.
People dudes like, where you from? They already know you're coming.
They already knew.
Right? Okay.
They already knew I was coming. They got the care bag for me and all that. I go there, and it's the real deal there.
Seeing how real it was, and then you being so short. Right, like damn, I only got a couple months left. I'm trying to make it out. Like, what's going through your mind?
Right, because they sent me there 2011. Right, I wrap up 2014. They sent me there. Boom, I see all the homies. Some dudes I know from the street. Boom, wow. They welcome me, whatever. They want to give me a hammer, I'm like, nah, I don't want one. I'm all set, right? I'm all set. So I'm doing my thing, my routine, playing ball, kicking it with the fellas, whatever. But that paperwork.
You gotta produce what they say. You
gotta produce that. Yeah, I already knew though. If you don't have that in 30 days, you gotta go. Yep. They ain't tell me you gotta go, but
it's understood.
I knew my paperwork was good, I got my joint, boom, gave it to him, whatever. But the tension there in the yard, the tension in the child hall, it's just tension, man. In the it's serious up there.
How long were you there?
I was there for 11 months, 11 months to a year, right? They told me that if you program, they'll get you up out of here. So I took all type of programs, you name it. I like workout programs, crochet. I did all type of stuff, right? Any certificate I can get, I went and got it.
Nice.
And when it was time for me to leave, right, I only told a couple of people because dudes will mess up your trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll mess up your, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, yo,
absolutely.
Oh, he going where? Oh no, he ain't going nowhere. You know, like, and do something crazy. And do something crazy. So I ended up coming up out of there, you know, clean. You know what I'm saying?
There was a lot of stuff going down. Is there a lot of lockdown time? People getting stabbed on the regular.
It is. I remember there was one incident, man. We on the yard, and these dudes just stopped pulling out them joints, man, and they just start going at it with each other, like just going at it. And once you hear that alarm, if you don't get down, like you got to get down. Like if you don't get down, they shooting them joints.
Where were these people from? Was it gang thing? Did you not even know? So like the feds has people from everywhere.
So it was DC.
It's always DC.
It was DC and Mexicans.
Whoa, okay.
Right? It was serious, man.
Yeah.
It was serious. Yeah. It was serious. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, from what I hear, the Mexicans don't play around.
They don't. They be having some. They'll take this pole right here, right, and make it into something and have it on them.
Wow.
And be walking around with it, like.
So fair to say you were pretty happy when you were getting up out of there.
I was blessed.
Yeah, blessed for sure.
Yeah, I was blessed.
Supervised release. You said this time you had a plan. Just talk a little bit about what your plan was.
So my plan was to come home, right? Ease my way into my daughter's life. You can't force it because I've been gone 8.5 years. You know what I'm saying? So I eased my way into my daughter's life to come home to get a job and to move away from the hood. Right?
Why was that important?
Why was that important? Because the first 2 times it didn't work for me. I came back to the hood. Like I'm not saying that's what you need to do, but that's what I needed to do to get to better myself, you know? And so I had to move out the hood. And I had to take any job that came my way. A lot of times dudes come home from the joint and they expect $30, $40 job, and then they don't get it, and then they fall back into their comfort zone.
My whole thing with that is too, it's always easier to get a job when you have a job. I think, even if it's just a job getting.
That's real.
You know what I mean, Tim? But whatever, it's like at least they could, especially if like how long you've been there, 6 months, they could see, all right, this dude could at least show up for a little bit. That's why I always think it's always easier to get a job when you have a job. But just because you get a job, that means you don't stop. You look for the next.
You don't.
So
I went and got a job at this temp agency, washing dishes. It's getting like $11 an hour, right? I had to walk to this temp agency 4:45 in the morning so I can catch the bus. It's called Snap Chef, right? To catch the bus that goes out to different, corporations.
Is this still in the Boston area? You say you're out the hood, but okay.
Yep. So it's in Dorchester.
And that's where you were living too?
So I was living in Roxbury, and I was walking to Dorchester, right? And I stayed in the hood for about a month or two, then I moved out. Yeah? Gotcha. So I was walking to the job so I can be on time for the bus, because if you miss it, you'll be sitting waiting 2-3 hours, and sometimes they don't even call no more. They don't call nobody no more for work. Okay. So I went from a dishwasher to a prep cook, from a prep cook to a cook. I was a cook at Applebee's, right, for like 8 months, and I was like, it's more to life than this. Like,
what made you want to move up that ladder too? Because some people just get a job and they're complacent, they don't really have ambitions. Was it just you want more money?
So I was in the field, so I was like, all right, because I was working in the kitchen when I was locked up my last 3 years, so that's something I'm familiar with.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, and
I just want to touch on that a little bit too. Why is it like important that these people, or that anyone, try to pick up some sort of skill while they're in there?
Why is it important?
Translate to the street.
Because ex-felons limited jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the more skills you have, the more opportunity you have for yourself. You know, you can make a way for yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, the more things you know, the more skills you have.
Absolutely.
You know,
I just like to emphasize that because I think we need more programs like that, more people cooking, or more classes that teach these skills for sure. So I just always like to bring that up. So you move your way up in the restaurant, but then you said.
So then I I was like, man, there's more to life to this. Like, I can make more money. I can do something else. So a friend of mine told me about mass rehab, right? So I went to mass rehab, and I got a counselor, and she told me, what do you want to do?
So
right?
before you get into that, just explain mass rehab for the people who may not know.
So mass rehab is like a program that will fund your schooling, like a trade that you want to get into. They will fund it as long as you have a certain disability, right? My disability was my back, asthma. I had asthma. You know what I'm saying? So I got approved through the doctor. We got a doctor's letter, got approved, so they ready to fund me, right?
And she asked you what you want to do. So
they asked me what I want to do, and I was like, I don't want to be on my feet no more, right? And the lady was like, I said, I want to drive, And she was like, you ever thought about your CDL license? And I was like, what is that? What's that? Yeah. She was like, commercial driver's license. I was like, I said, never thought of it. Was that driving trucks? She was like, yeah. I was like, let's do it. I just was like, let's do it, And she was like, all right. She signed me up the next week to school. I went to school. I passed the test. They pay for everything. Nice. They pay for my schooling, my license, my mileage. They pay for everything. My interview clothes.
How did you feel in school? Did you feel like this is something you'd like to do? You didn't even graduate on the street. You got a GED locked up. Now you're going to school. Right. Is that something that builds confidence for you?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? Okay.
I didn't like it.
Just a necessary evil?
Right. I'm like, but I had it in my mind, like, if I pass this, right? See, when you have a purpose, it makes you fight more. Yeah. Like, when you have something to fight for, like, my purpose was to get my CDL license so I could make more money. So I studied so hard. I went to school every day for them 2 months. I studied, and then I passed. Nice. Let me tell you, right? You got to get your permit first, right? You got to get your permit. I never had my license till I was 38 years old. Okay. Right? I'm 46 now, right? Okay. But you got to get your permit for your CDL license. I failed twice, right? Back to back. Like, I failed, I went back and failed again, right? I mean,
did you not study, or
And I studied. Okay. I could have easily gave up, but I was determined. I went back that weekend and studied more and went back and I aced it. Nice. Right? I didn't give up. I didn't give up, So I went and got I started working with this company called Benevento, right? Driving a cement truck. I've been doing that, I've been driving a cement truck for 8 years now. Wow. Like, it's like, wow. But I left in September. To go full-time speaking. I wanted to try something else, man, And I left, and the money wasn't consistent, So I was like, man, I got this CDL license. I know this is my passion, and I'm not going to give up on speaking because this is what I love to do. But I still got, why am I going to struggle where I got this license, right? And I can, continue on driving, right? But I can still speak on the side, until it pops off,
Would you recommend someone to get their CDL?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they seem pretty good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would recommend, an ex-felon to go and get your CDL license because it's more options.
Yeah.
It gives you more options, Whatever kind of degree or, like I didn't take, I didn't go get my, degree, but I'm pushing education, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
Because,
for sure.
I read and education is good, man.
Yeah.
That's how you learn, And it's I highly recommend, to get your CDL license because you can eat off of it,
And they're not really worried about records and stuff like that.
I got turned down a lot of jobs.
Okay.
I got turned down a lot of, but there's a lot of Corey-friendly jobs.
You just need the one yes. You know what I mean?
That's
Need
it.
100,
And you
100
will
ones.
get it.
Yeah.
If you keep going.
Don't quit, like you said.
If you keep going.
So you come out, the feds, they usually do what? A supervised release? Mm-hmm. Right? So you completed that?
I completed that like it was nothing. People be coming home.
Okay, what do you think was the biggest reason for your success in completing that? Just not living that lifestyle anymore? Was it
not living the lifestyle?
having a job and showing them?
Not living the lifestyle and doing what you got to do so you can get off of paper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, whatever they ask you to do, just do it. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think's been the biggest reason to help you stay sober throughout all this time?
The biggest reason is my daughter, right?
daughter,
I don't ever want to be apart from my daughter again, for so long, she's my, like I said, she's my why,
Right. What advice would you give to somebody struggling with addiction?
My advice is to, slow down on it, right? Stop hooking up with people that are not getting high, right? And ask for help. Ask for help.
Yeah.
A lot of, even people sober, what I'm saying? Sober and people are, struggling. A lot of people are afraid to ask for help.
Why do you think that is? Especially for men, I feel like.
It's big for men because, the man's supposed to hold it down, But rejection, a lot of people don't like, I don't like rejection. A lot of people don't. But by asking for help, man, it can take you to places you couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
All you got to do is, like, there's people waiting for you to ask for help. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just people, they just waiting, like, damn, like, I wish he would just ask me for help. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
I always offer my help out, like, I offer my help to people and like, yo, if I can direct you in a certain spot, I'll make it happen, like,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's what I love to do.
What's your favorite part about the speaking? What do you love most about it?
When the kid comes up to me, right, and says, thank you for speaking, I was thinking about killing myself, and if I would have did that, I would have never heard you speak, and now I look at life different.
Wow.
I hear that a lot.
Wow.
A lot.
How does that make you feel going through everything that you've been through, the places you were at, you know what I mean? And then to hear somebody say that, does it make you feel like kind of was all worth going through if it could help one person?
Everything that I went through, I wouldn't take it back. You know why? Because it made me who I am today. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
I'm supposed to be out here helping these kids. I'm supposed to be out here sharing my story because, you know what I'm saying, if I can make it, you can make it too. And, and you're not in it alone.
Yeah.
Just ask for help, man. Just reach out. That's it, man.
So doing all the time that you did between juvenile, prison, you go to the Federal Penitentiary, just speak about what's something that you learned about yourself.
I learned that I'm a poet, right? I learned that, right? I'm a poet, right? I learned that I'm a loving person, man, that I'm a caring person, That's real big, man.
Talk about the poetry. When did you get into that?
So the poetry, I got into that when I was locked up. a talent that I didn't even know I had, you know. Back in 2008.
Okay.
And I was in New York, and I was just writing. I just started writing, you know, like, you know what kind of sparked it is my pop. I call him my pops. He ain't my real pops, but I call him my pops. Older dude from around the way. He used to get high. Now he cleaned up, you know. He's a poet too, right? And sometimes I would just play around and just shoot some stuff at him, you know. And he'd be like, yo, that sounds good, man. Like, and then, you know, I kind of started to take it serious. It was, you know, it was something to do while I was locked up, you know. And I just kind of like ran with it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what would you tell these, you know, maybe these young kids who are running the streets and kind of getting into trouble, if you would kind of tell them what's waiting for them in those state prisons and USPs and all that?
What I would tell them is, what you're doing right now is not gonna last. You know what I'm saying? They are waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? To come up there, so they can manipulate you. You know what I'm saying? And to telling you that you a dog for, you know, running the streets and busting your gun and you know, selling drugs, and like you a dog for that. Like, nah, you ain't a dog for that. Nah, I thought, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was what it was about. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. It's not, man. If you out here, if you running them streets and you wilding, find something else to do. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to go through what I went through, and what people are going through right now. There's people not even coming home, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people not coming home. There's people I left up in the joint. Like, I ain't gonna never see them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's heartbreaking, bro.
It's hard, you know.
I mean, a lot of times, you know, between music, Hollywood, TV, and all that stuff, there's like a glorification element to prison. Like you said, oh, you're a dog, you're a G, you're this, and that. So I like to ask, like, in your opinion, what's the worst part about prison?
The worst part about prison is being away from your family. And not having your freedom. You know what I'm saying? Being away from your family and not having your freedom. Having people telling you what to do. Like, you know, telling you what time you gotta go to sleep. Telling you what time you gotta go to chow. Telling you what time is movement. You know what I'm saying? Like, like that control that they have over you while you're there.
That's no good.
It's no good.
Since you've been out, you ever have a moment almost where you're like sitting back, enjoying freedom, and almost you kind of reflect on where you came from, and it almost is like tear jerking? Has that happened for you?
Just from time to time it does, you know. But recently, I was just driving and I was with my girl, and I was like, you know what? I was like, yo. I'm just down like, damn, I got a car, I got a job, I got my license, I got a home, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, just some years ago, I didn't have none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was locked up, I had a dope habit, I was homeless, like, and I'm like, man, God is good, man, God is real. And change is possible, man. It's possible.
I mean, it seems like you've done a lot since you've been out. Do you have like a proudest moment?
Being in the magazine.
Talk about that,
man. So I even bought the magazine with me.
Nice.
Right? They did a 4-page spread on me in Boston magazine.
Nice.
And what's crazy is, right? The crazy thing is, right? This lady on the front, she's Cindy Stampo, right? She's a luxury builder. She builds houses for the Celtics, and you know, in Brookline,
Yep.
and you know what I'm saying? I'm in the same book as her.
That's wild.
Right? They did a full-page spread on me.
Hold that up to the camera a little
They
bit.
did a
too.
full-page spread on me as
Nice.
Boston's top motivational speaker, man.
Hey,
Like this right here, like I
that's
was like,
amazing. How long ago was this?
this was last year.
Last year.
Last year, like.
How
You
does
know?
that come about? Did somebody reach out to you, or?
So they have magazine release parties, right? And they be having, you know, magazines and stuff, right? And release parties, and you know, the crowd that I'm in, you know, I got invited. I always get invited to them. And one day it was like, yo, let's do a story on you, you know, because they see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They see I'm, you know, speaking at schools, and you know, they did the story on me, man, and it's just crazy. Like once I started hanging around different people, like people that are doing better than me or heading the same way I'm going, like all type of stuff been happening, man. Like you know, I was Gronk's bodyguard one day. You know what I'm saying?
That's ill.
It was just it was crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just you know, I was his bodyguard for the whole day. Like come on, like I was you know, I was a dope head. You know what I'm saying? Like to look what I'm doing now. Look what I'm
Wow, that's
like
gotta
it's
be-
possible. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't be saying it to brag. Like I was able to speak. I was able to speak in the U.S. Attorney's office to 152 district attorneys to share my story. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That, you know, I'm proud of myself,
yeah,
man.
you
You know
should
what I'm
be.
saying? Like, come
Absolutely.
on, like, and that's why I do what I do. That's why I do what I do.
amazing.
I love the people, man. I love to share I love to change people's lives. I love to give people hope, man.
What advice would you give to somebody who wants to get into motivational speaking?
My advice, right, is if you want to get into speaking, do it for free first. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of free joints you're going to have to do, you know? And find people are doing it at a high level and learn from them, you know?
Do you have like a personal favorite motivational speaker yourself?
Oh, Les Brown.
Les? Okay.
Yeah, Les
out
Brown.
to Les,
Yeah,
yep.
he got a quote. I hit people with, "Do the things of today others won't do, in order to have the things of tomorrow others don't have."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Les
makes a lot of
Brown's
sense.
Les
Yeah.
Brown. You know, E.T. Eric Thomas.
Hip-hop
You know.
preacher.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. What are some things you're looking forward to as far as the rest of your life, man?
I'm looking to own my own house.
Nice.
Right. I'm looking into making a way. I'm looking into, this is one thing, I'm looking into making a way for those that are going through what I've been through. You know what I'm saying? I want an outlet for them. You know what I'm saying? An outlet for them so where they can be comfortable, you know? Be comfortable so they can share their story, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Things like that, man. Yeah, man. And just leaving a legacy for my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why was it important for you to come up here and tell your story, man?
It was important because the more people that hear my story, the more lives I can change, you know?
For sure.
That's why it's so important. I'm telling you, man, I don't do this for the lights and camera. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I do it because I just don't want nobody to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
And by me sharing my story, right, it can change people's lives. It can just, you never know what somebody's going through. And by me sharing, it'd be like, man.
Yeah. What's the main message that you want somebody to take from your story?
The main message I want from somebody to take from my story is for them to let them know that they can grow. You know, they can grow. Don't stay in your comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't grow in your comfort zone. You feel me? Like, you got to be uncomfortable. Once you get through that uncomfortable situation, that's when the growing starts. You know, that's when the growing takes place, man. You know, I know. Have you ever been in, in a situation and you thought you never was gonna make it, right? And then now look at you, you right here talking to me. We talking to each other. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like, yeah, bro. So
what do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions about prison that people may not know?
That you can change in prison. Like, it changed me. You know what I'm saying? People think that you can't. People think you go to prison and you just sit in the cell or you just, do all type of negative stuff, which it happens, you know.
Sure.
But there's a lot of smart dudes in the joint that came out of the joint. You know what I'm saying? That learned a lot. Like, look at I'm a prime example. Like, absolutely. Going to jail was one of the best things that happened for me. You know what I'm saying? It changed me. It changed. It helped me. Like, I honestly think if I didn't get locked up, I'd probably be dead or on Mass Ave. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk.
So, doing time. Sometimes there's a lot of mental health things that could come with that. Was that something that you ever had to deal with, and how are you kind of handling all of that now?
So by me handling my mental health is just hanging around people that are in a positive environment. I don't deal with no negativity. Like, you won't even I don't even talk negative too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just be the people that I hang with, the people that and you got to do this on your own. Absolutely. You can't wait for it to come to you. You got to go do it yourself. I surround myself with people that are on a positive level, that are doing something in the community, that are doing something for themselves, that are doing something to uplift something, or to uplift somebody, you know. That's what I'm about, bro. I'm telling you.
I mean, it's easy to say, try to stay positive. I try to be as positive as I can, but sometimes these negative thoughts will come to, they'll come to us, intrusive thoughts and all of that. How do you deal with something like that?
I let it come. You know what I'm saying? I let it come. Let it out, but I don't stay there.
Right.
Because you're right. They do come up. Negative thoughts.
And you gotta acknowledge it for what it is.
Got to. Gotta acknowledge it. And you just can't stay there.
Right.
Go through it.
Right.
Go through the motions. You know what I'm saying? Go through it. Share it with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Tell somebody about it. Don't hold it in.
Right. And I think even that self-talk sometimes is big with that, right? If you have a negative thought like, oh man, maybe I am a loser. But if you tell yourself 5 times you're a winner, I feel like it'll overwhelm that negative thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure. So.
And your body movements. Like, body movements is big too. Like, if I just sit here and smile, you're going to smile like, yo, you're going to be like, yo. Yeah. And if you smile, like, you're feeling, like, if you can be in a down moment, right, and just smile, and you just start laughing, be like, yo, what the hell am I laughing for, right? Like, absolutely. But your body movements can change that. For sure. That thought.
Because your brain usually thinks when it smiles, you're happy. So even if you fake it a couple times, it's going to start to send that signal, and then you might even actually get a real laugh out of it.
Absolutely.
Even if you just fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? So.
But when you get into that mood, that dark place,
don't stay there.
Don't stay there.
Acknowledge it for what it is. Feel it. Feel those feelings, whatever it may be.
We all go through it,
and
man.
then let it go. For sure. You're doing wonderful things. You got a lot of great things going on. In your opinion, what are some areas that you would like to improve?
Financial. Like, all I knew how to do was get money and spend it. Right? All I knew how to do was get it and spend it, get it and spend it. Nobody taught me about my credit. They didn't teach me about budgeting my money, none of that. So I brought that habit home. I came home. I'm getting these credit cards, and I still had that young boy mentality. I went and bought I bought a car with some rims on, the 22s, right? Put a $1,000 system in there, like. And I'm working washing dishes, right? Like, I'm just blowing money, like, because I developed that habit and I didn't know how to to balance that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Along with everything else that I'm doing right. You know.
So how are you addressing that?
So how I'm addressing that now is I'm hooking up with people that are doing it at a high level, right? And asking questions.
Yeah.
Asking them, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm taking steps of, you know, doing little by little, trying to, you know, save my money. Start building my credit back up, you know, start paying bills on time. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature.
Okay.
So my financial, that's what I need to get more strong at, you know?
I hear that.
Yeah, I'm just being real.
Yeah,
like, you
no,
know what I'm
for sure.
saying?
That's real talk, bro. So, as far as your sobriety, what kind of work are you doing for that?
So, I don't hang around nobody that get high, you know, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what's so crazy? I never did meetings, right? But this is one meeting I'm on now, right? And I just like 3-4 months ago, right? And it's on social media. It's a Zoom call every Tuesday night, right? It's from they're based in California, right? It's called the Hopeaholics, and it's about 70-80 people log on, right? It's Zoom, right?
Yeah.
And it's people from all walks of life, not only in recovery, but you know, had trauma in their life, or lost somebody in their life, and we just you know, it's just an open field. It's like they have a speaker to speak for 25 minutes about their sobriety and their story, and then they open the floor for everybody else. And I've been faithful to that
Nice.
for the past 4 months, man, right? But them are the people I need to be around. People that are trying to better themselves, you know what I'm saying?
For sure. What was the reason you got into that? You just saw the group?
I saw it. I
me
saw
see
it
what
on
this is about.
I saw it on social media, and I actually reached out to them. They reached back to me, and they was like, "Yeah, if you ever in the same how I reached out to you,
Yep.
right? If you ever in the Orange County area, you come out here. We got you." And I just been following them. I've been following them for 4 months. We've been on meetings every Tuesday.
Nice.
Like,
Why is it good to have like an open mind like that?
to
Try new things. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people are just stuck in their thought process,
You know
stuck
why?
in their ways.
It's a good thing, it's a bad thing, you know, because some people are routine, right? In a routine thing, and it's working for them, you know. But I like to try new things, you know. That's how you learn.
Absolutely.
You know, it helps me learn. You know, I have that open mind. I'll try it. If it seems good, if it seems, you know, like exciting, or like, I'm gonna try it. I want to try it.
You went on when you were on the run. You said you went to Disney World.
Yeah, Disney World.
All right.
yeah.
What about now that you're not on the run? You been doing any traveling?
I went back to Florida. I went to Florida to Universal Studios.
Oh, okay.
I went to Vegas for my
nice.
first time doing right after the pandemic, 2021. That's another thing. I was on this thing on Facebook called Quarantine Karaoke, right?
Okay.
Where you remember when we, you know, the
Everybody
pandemic
shut
and all
down,
that,
yeah.
everybody shut down, but I was an essential worker, so I was still driving in my truck, you know, and this girl sent me a invite to it, so I turned it on. I'm like, okay, so people just singing, you know what I'm saying, singing and doing their thing. So I went live a couple of times, you know. I had like about 10 people watching me, right? But what I'm doing, I'm singing in my truck, whatever songs on the radio, I'm singing, blah blah blah, right? So I did it for a few days. And then probably the 7th day, I had 1,000 people watching me, right? So I'm like, what in the world, right? But people are reaching out to me thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being inspiring. And, this one lady reached out to me, man. I know I'm kind of off a little bit, but this one lady, she reached out to me and she said, I want to thank you for making me smile again. She said, she had a bottle of pills in her hand and was ready to kill herself, right? Damn. And I made her smile, and it made her change her mind. And
that's profound.
And her son OD'd, He was 18. I usually bring his guitar with me everywhere I go, right? I didn't bring it today, but I usually have his guitar in my bag right here, right? And not in the bag, but I usually have his guitar, and I share that story. She brought the guitar she's in Maine. She brought the guitar to me. She put all this Boston stuff on there, and one of my poems, and Juice. You know, they call me Juice. And she brought it to me, man, and I share her story every time I...
So talk about the poetry. What is it? What do you got going on with the poetry? Do you go and like read at places? Or...
Like this Friday, I got something going on in Somerville. I forgot the name of the place.
Okay.
I'm gonna do something there, but I don't really, you know. Every time I speak, I do my poems. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
You want to recite a poem while you're here right now? I mean, it is something you gotta read, right. or we could do it another time.
Nah, I got you. Listen, I'm always on point, man. I got one right here. It's called "Who Am I?" Right? I said, this drug that I kicked could have left me for dead. It messed up my life. I couldn't never stay ahead. It used to always talk to me, and I would always pay attention. But it never said, yo, Juice, let's slow down on your addiction. Who am I? Come get me before it's too late. You know every morning you and I have a date. So you better get up out of bed and get to me quick, because you know what happens next. Your butt'll be sick. You don't have to brush your teeth or wash your face. When you arrive at my spot, I'll take that place. Just get me in you so you can feel okay, because the plans I have for you, you're gonna have a long, rough day. That's how I'm giving it up. When people take me in, they think they can control me, but at the end, I'll always win.
Hey.
Who am I? Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, good shit though, bro.
Thanks, man.
So, yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming through, man. This has been a great experience. So, why don't you just tell the people where they can find you on social media and things like that? And I'll also post it in the beginning too, because I know if you're still stuck around this long, I appreciate everybody. Make sure you hit that like button. But yeah, why don't you just tell the people where they can find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Julian Motive02, all one word, JulianMotive 02, and on Facebook is Julian Miller, JulianMiller.
Okay,
yeah,
so
man.
And also before I let you go, if there was any things you wanted to touch on, maybe we didn't get a chance to, or just some closing words before I let you go.
How about I close out with a poem?
Absolutely.
It's called God First, right? I said, a strong wind blows with force, pushing away rough times of trials and tribulations. Then comes new times, of course, to show no remorse and no more limitations. Problems don't last too long if we put God first in every situation. Our heart will be content in any event, because prayer precedes preparation. Tick-tock, time never stops. Our time can be seconds away. So live life to the fullest extent and put God first each
Absolutely.
day. Yeah,
you heard it from Juice right there, and I'm going to have to co-sign that. Put God first.
Yes.
Guys, remember, this is the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, B. Luke. Juice, thanks again for coming through.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, brother.
Remember,
appreciate
it
you,
is
brother.
what it is. What's next is what you make it. On that note, we out of here. Peace.
Bounce back, you got a moment. When they see you down, there's no